I have to introduce also Roger Street, who is also since 5 years, I think, already co-chairing with me the working group 2 on climate services. He more from the scientific side and myself more from the funder perspective, and I think that's a good combination where we have worked very effectively, I think, in the last years. He has been the former chair of the management committee, and he's also chairing a task in the coordination and support action on dissemination and outreach. And so this is how he is involved in his workshop, and he is chairing you for the afternoon session also.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm giving you an introduction now.
Thank you. Well, it's very nice to get to this point where we're now getting this group together. This is something we've been looking at. A number of us in Module 2 have been really talking about this and getting it together. But it's also getting it together in the context of some of these very interesting changes that are going on. So I'm very pleased to get to this point. You will notice that there's cameras on, and we're recording this part of the session, and we'll be only recording the presentations. And that was the idea of doing that is there's a number of people that said they were unable to join us, and we wanted to give them the opportunity to have the benefit of the presentations. But we will not be filming the brokerage event and recording any of that. That is completely open. And that is, it's completely open is that it's completely, you're open and free to talk how you want to talk. When we put this together, we thought it would be very useful to provide you with some basic information. And that's what we've tried to do in the first session after I introduced this workshop. And that's, we're going to hear about the Horizon 2020 roadmap. And then this is the roadmap, as you will hear about, that is directing, or it's not, is informing, sorry, I got to be careful there, informing the Horizon 2020 investments in climate services. We're also going to hear about the JPI AirNet for climate services, and another very significant component of the activities that are going on, which is Copernicus and the Copernicus Climate Service. We're going to hear from that. So you get an idea of starting to understand much better the environment. And then what we thought we'd do is we'd talk about how the different roles people play in delivering climate services, but also in using climate services. So we really wanted to start with that user's perspective. And this is very consistent with the direction that we're trying to go in, is to have that user's perspective right up front. We also thought looking at it from a public good and understanding what climate services are as a public good, the role of the private sector in climate services, and then promoting and enabling innovation, the role of the EIT Climate Kick. We thought this would be very informative and really start help you understanding some of the environment which you're now going to be working in. Then we're going to start out with the brokerage session. And the thing we're trying to try with the brokerage session is that we're first of all going to give you another little bit of a perspective from the other JPIs that are playing in the climate services area. We're going to hear from JPI Water. JPI Urban Environment will not be with us, but they've given us some information. Oh, sorry. Thank you. JPI, I wander. I apologize. Anyone that knows me, I can't sit in front. Anyways, we'll have JPI Urban Europe. They will not be here with us, but they've given us information. JPI Fascia will be here, and then and also JPI Oceans. And these are all the JPIs that are wanting to use climate services. So it's again giving you a perspective that you may want to bring into your discussions. And then we're going to start the brokerage event. And the brokerage event is going to be run using an open space concept. If any of you have seen this, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But we're looking for people that want to come up and put ideas forward and say, I'd like to get a group together to discuss this type of idea, this type of thought. We're moving in this direction. And so those people that want to join that group can go and do that. So we've been planting a number of ideas. When you got your invitation, hopefully you saw that we were trying to do that, and some of you come with ideas, and maybe this will inspire you to do that and to undertake that discussion. But we also wanted to have this as an opportunity to continue discussing this, and that's why it's a lunch-to-lunch event. And the lunch-to-lunch event is that we have, as you see, a standing dinner tonight. which will follow this meeting. The idea is to continue your discussions and maybe learning what's going on in some of those areas. So we thought that would be very useful, and continue those discussions this evening if you want as a group. Tomorrow we'll be starting there's 8:30 for tea and coffee, but at 9 o'clock we thought there's just a couple of other things we thought we believed it'd be useful for you to know about. And one is the European Climate Service Partnership and the ECOMS. And again, it's understanding that environment, getting a better picture of what's going on. And then, as Dagmar talked about, some of the work that's been going on in Module 2, where we've been trying to understand who the users are and what their needs are, but also trying to understand who the providers are and who is providing this information. So to give you a little bit of that. And then another brokerage session. So you have a chance to maybe further some ideas. Maybe during the night you've said, hey, I'd like to talk about this. I'd like to pull some people. I've got an idea now that's now crystallized, and I want to talk about this. So maybe some new groups will form, and we can get off and have those types of discussions. These groups, it's open, it's not recorded, notes aren't being taken except for by yourself, those that are leading those groups. So you can talk about consortia, you can talk about some of your ideas and start to flesh these out. There will be people wandering around. There's funders here. Some of the commission is here, some of the national funders are here, so you can, maybe have a chance to meet them and explore some ideas with them as well. So that was the idea of this. It's not, we're not going to sit there, okay, can we now have a presentation from this group, and can you explain all your research you're going to be doing? No, we're not going to do that. This is allowing you to do that, to understand. The only thing we're going to take note of is the different sort of types of ideas, but that's just so that we can have a discussion here as a group. And then we'll wrap up and we'll wrap up with lunch tomorrow. So that's our plan. So it's really to give you an idea of an opportunity, I should say, to get a better understanding of the environment and a better understanding of maybe some opportunities that are out there. The calls are coming out. The calls, some of them are actually there, and the more calls are coming out. So we want to make sure that you're thinking about these things and try to think about some of the people here. As Dagmar said, there's 20 countries here. So it gives you an opportunity to spread across. It'd be nice if there was 28, but we're getting there. We're getting more and more. So, an opportunity to spread across. So that's our plan. That is our plan for today. As I said, we'll have the first sessions will be recorded. Don't feel that if you want to ask a question, please free to ask a question. Is anyone concerned with it being recorded, let me know. Just let me know. I'm not going to try and center you out here if you have a concern about that. We've checked with all the speakers. I think everyone was okay with that, the speakers. So I think we're all set to go. I don't know anything about a fire alarm. The gentlemen that are walking in are here to protect us, that you see walking in from the street with those funny things in their hand. So we don't have to be worried about that. But I don't know of any fire alarm. I will mention there's Wi-Fi in this room. The sign is at the back over in there. It's Norway House or Norway House 2, and the code is Norway 06. Okay? All small characters. So people want that. Is everyone okay with the way we're going and we're ready to head off here? Any questions anyone has? So this is your opportunity. Make sure you ask questions. We really want to ask those questions. And when I'll be leading the session on the brokerage session, and I'll be really looking for your ideas. So this is an opportunity to explore those. And you'll get a chance to explore in various contexts. Dagmar, anything else you can think of?
It's just if somebody feels uncomfortable with being recorded while asking questions, you can also give those questions with some written form to Ivy. And then we'll announce your question on the microphone.
Okay. Thank you. It's back to you, Dagmar, to chair this next session.